Hi, and welcome to the Diamond Report for Wednesday, April 26th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. It is currently 10:23 p.m., and I've got us looking at the last 24 hours of earthquakes globally. I just wanted to show you that we have not yet seen any movement in this area that I mentioned yesterday between eastern Papua New Guinea and the Solomon Islands. If I go back 48 hours, there's still only one more quake, 5.1 to the east of that. So we're still expecting movement in the next few days right here where my mouse pointer is. And the reason why there is because we have two fulcrum points on two quakes on either side of the fulcrum point being here in the middle. We got a 5.0 over here and a 4.2 or so over here. Add those together, you'll get about maybe a magnitude 5.1 or 5.2. That's probably what's going to happen right here in the next few days, so we'll just keep watching for that. The main thing I wanted to show you was this super deep quake that we've got in Bolivia that's occurred. Magnitude 5.0, 681 kilometers deep. That's why it's so far off of the globe. And it happened today at 1:13 p.m. That's Central Time. That's my time. So just in the last 9 hours. So a magnitude 5 that deep is not something that really would have even been felt. The significance of it is that because it's so deep, it will probably lead, and normally does, lead to shallow, larger movement in the same area in a silent zone. So when it gets this far into South America, as far as the central area or south of there, usually the bigger quake, another magnitude or two higher or larger than this 5.0, usually the larger quake will happen to the south of where this one is. So I think if we keep watching, we'll see movement in a silent zone south of Bolivia where this one is. So most likely it'll be another magnitude, probably 6, possibly 7 in somewhere here in Chile. Chile is a very active area as far as earthquake activity, so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. But that's the significance of that really deep 5.0, is that it will lead to shallow, larger movement. And then we have another couple more, actually, deep quakes out here near Fiji, and those again also translate to shallow, larger movements. That's the light beige or whitish color. Those are newer quakes. The darker pink rings are older quakes, but we're still only looking at the last 48 hours. So it's still, you know, a couple of deep quakes that we'll have to keep an eye on. Will probably lead to shallow, larger movement out here. Could possibly be in this area, but most of the other areas that we normally would watch to see pressure transfer to have moved through southern Indonesia, up through Sumatra, up through even near Nepal. So there have been a lot of smaller quakes in the 3s and 4 area. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it and see what happens. And I'm going to try and keep this Diamond Report a little shorter. They've been getting longer and longer because there's been so much going on. But let's go ahead and move on to the headlines. Latest German crime figures show surge in violent crime by migrants. That's on Sputnik. A Russian FM spokeswoman says the UN must lead the battle against pandemic of fake news and disinformation. I wonder what the Russians consider fake news, because our real fake news is the mainstream media, and the people they call fake news is the real news. So it's a little confusing. But as far as Russia goes, I'm not really sure what they're calling fake news. My guess is they're probably talking about the same things that the mainstream media, our mainstream media, is calling fake news. So it gets really confusing, but I think she's probably putting down alternative news. That's my guess, because she's talking to the UN. Our delegation proposes the UN to define a strategy for battling fake news and disinformation. Russian senator warns UK risks being wiped off the face of the earth. That's on Zero Hedge. Russia ready to send ground troops to Syria. That's on Zero Hedge as well. Neocon Paul Wolfowitz speaking privately with McMaster and Mattis. There could be no worse sign than Lindsey Graham and Paul Wolfowitz getting on the Trump train. Boy, that is so true. It's not what you want to see. Bombshell, Hillary aides threatened Prime Minister's son with IRS audit. State Department weaponized IRS to kill foreign investigation into Clinton donor. That's from the Daily Caller. Turning the tables, Trump supporters disrupt anti-Trump Democrat town hall in California. It's on the LA Daily News. Claim GOP senators laughed out loud at prospect of Trump's wall. They were recently telling that source of mine, quote, "Don't worry, it's not going to happen." That's from Steve Watson of InfoWars. Emergency martial law warning for President Trump. Trump is under total attack and the elite want to overthrow him. Clinton sex victims slam mainstream media over O'Reilly coverage. Paula Jones says, "I'm disgusted once again by how hypocritical the liberal media can be." Yeah, you know, I've been saying this for the last several days, drawing the comparison between everything that Bill Clinton has gotten away with and what O'Reilly has now gotten fired for, and he's only done a very tiny fraction of what Bill Clinton was ever even accused of. It's just really interesting because Clinton gets away with it. He gets a pass because he's a liberal, he's a leftist. O'Reilly doesn't because he's a conservative. I'm not saying either one of them are right. I'm just saying that why does Clinton get away with everything and O'Reilly get away with nothing? They're going to hold his feet to the fire, but they'll let Bill Clinton go every single time, and that's what Paula Jones is saying here. Soros-funded groups push to exempt Facebook and Google from FCC rules. This is from Jerome Corsi. Google, Facebook exempt from Obama-era FCC net neutrality rules. Establishment moves to delegitimize Breitbart and the alternative media. Barack Obama returns to America and scams college students. Students pay excessive amounts of money to be demonized for being wealthy. The dark side of the occult. Exclusive report exposes the dark secrets of elite cult rituals. Believe me, those are some dark secrets you do not want to know. Software will allow humans and dolphins to talk. Swedish startup uses AI to figure out what dolphins talk about. So now we're finally going to find out what Flipper's been saying all this time? Wow. The DHS chief says without localities' help, we have to go into neighborhoods to find illegal aliens. Law enforcement officials want to cooperate with us, says John Kelly. That's on Defense One. Senator Ted Cruz introduces bill to make Mexicans pay for the wall. Mexican drug lord may end up paying for Trump's border wall. We'll see about that. Coca-Cola to cut 1,200 jobs as sales slump. Coke employs more than 100,000 people worldwide. Gay Muslims forced to flee their countries come here and be itch. This is from Joe Biggs. Many homosexuals in Islamic countries have come to America only to trash the place that gave them a safe haven. That sounds about right. Obama judge blocks Fed action against sanctuary cities, and he raised money for Obama. Border wall talk leads top Mexican official to float American entry fee. Massive terror attack drills Wednesday. That was today. We'll cover that more in a minute. The Club of Rome has undermined you for decades. Learn more about the most influential think tank in the world. Obama's $400,000 Cantor speech makes him Wall Street's newest fat cat. Photos, North Korea flexes military muscle in unprecedented live fire drill. Anti-InfoWars propaganda at all-time high. Establishment media suddenly obsessed with Alex Jones and InfoWars. You know, I'm getting that on some of my posts as well, and a few comments on YouTube too when I use InfoWars as a resource. People are scared to death of Alex Jones, or they don't understand it, or they would rather spend their time attacking somebody who's actually making a difference than starting their own radio show and doing their own thing and trying to make a difference that way. They'd rather take down Alex. Trump completely wrong about Julian Assange. Assange did what was necessary to get important information to the public. So true. Assange says the CIA director is waging war on truth-tellers like WikiLeaks. Mexican illegal alien population in U.S. lowest since 2009. That's on RT.com. Breaking, Ann Coulter cancels Berkeley speech. Antifa bullies get their way in what Coulter called a sad day for free speech. Yeah, it's been on and off and on and off, I don't know how many times. White House readies order on withdrawing from NAFTA. It's good news. That's on Politico. China bans Muslim names including Jihad and Muhammad. List of banned ethnic minority names catalogs more than 24 banned names such as Arafat, Mujahid, and Medina. Indigenous people shoot arrows at police in socialist Brazil. Death toll in Venezuela's unrest rises to 26. That's from Reuters. Trump proposes sweeping tax reform. That's on The Hill. Would wipe out most deductions and simplify a system for individuals in 3 tax brackets. 3 months since Trump's inauguration, Planned Parenthood has performed 81,567 abortions. It's a total revenue of $1.29 billion. China launches new aircraft carrier, bolstering naval presence. Government employee salaries outpace private sector salaries by double digits for similar work. Overpaid federal workers. Wow. Liberals slam Obama for taking $400,000 from Wall Street. Here's how wrong past environmental predictions have been. Americans have paid a steep price for buying into environmental deception and lies. That's from the Daily Signal, but that does not mean that there's not problems. So keep that in mind. Again, if you want to know what's going on, please visit Dane Wigington's website, geoengineeringwatch.org. Red Bull's CEO is reportedly launching a right-wing news platform that's being compared to Breitbart. Good for him. That's from The Fader. French mayor found guilty of thought crime. Even mayors can't speak the truth about Islam in France. Why the elite are preparing their bunkers. When the elite begin to prepare for the worst, it's a signal to the rest of us. Question is, are we smart enough to listen? Report Trump to withdraw from NAFTA. Senior Trump official, military preparations underway for North Korea. This is from Mikhail Thalen. Top Trump aide emphasizes diplomatic and economic approach to North Korean regime. InfoWars Nightly News, biggest tax cut in 30 years on the eve of World War III. Trump hails historic tax cuts to put USA back to work. Yes, but if Kim Jong-un nukes us all, what jobs will we go to? Alex Jones and Paul Joseph Watson, is Trump betraying America? An analysis of Trump's first months in office. That's an important watch. The Democrats get Trump and the Republicans to fold, and that means there will never be a border wall. It's from Michael Snyder of the Economic Collapse blog. I've kind of said all along that I thought that the border wall was just a platform in the campaign, that it would never happen. We'll see, though. The S&P, these 10 retailers will file for bankruptcy next. That's on Zero Hedge. NBC News writes, what should you do in case of a nuclear attack? Emmanuel Clinton versus Marine Le Trump. And that's also on Zero Hedge. The propaganda is spewing left and right. In warning to North Korea, U.S. releases video of overnight Minuteman III ICBM launch. Trying to scare them out of their wits, I guess. Why U.S. ICBM Minuteman III's launch sends strong signal to North Korea. That's on Sputnik News. U.S. missile defense allows covert nuclear strike against Russia. And on RT.com, U.S. and South Korea stage powerful military drills amid rising tensions with Pyongyang. THAAD missile system to be operational in South Korea in coming days. That's from a U.S. admiral. It's on RT.com. Ministers must do everything possible to ensure Le Pen defeat. That's from Hollande, also on RT.com. Markets fight back. Europe's bankers call for immediate U-turn on Brexit finance crackdown. Peso plunges as White House plans NAFTA withdrawal executive order. Trump individual tax plan to have 3 brackets, 35%, 25%, and 10%. That's on Zero Hedge. It will be 9/11 times 1,000. Terror chief warns of American bloodbath. That's on Daily Star. U.S. Navy fires warning flare at an Iranian vessel in the Persian Gulf amid rising tensions between the two countries. North Korean leader takes the salute as his army fires rockets and torpedoes at mock enemy warships during country's largest ever live-fire artillery drills. From the Daily Mail, shock as North Korea hits Donald Trump with 6-week nuke countdown. Now, Ivanka Trump says the U.S. must admit Syrian refugees after her father warned for a year that they are the all-time great Trojan horse. Who is running the show here? Speaker Paul Ryan will fund Planned Parenthood, but not the Trump border wall. That's on Gateway Pundit. Muslim grabs knife and stabs 4 Jews during Tel Aviv peace tour. That's also on the Gateway Pundit. From Greg Hunter of USA Watchdog, Trump feel-good financial narrative crumbling. Craig Hemke says the system is being propped up and is very weak, and contends these markets are quite literally held together by electronic baling wire and digital chewing gum. Top Obama official squeals, "We faked climate change data." Macron exposed as former Rothschild banker, groomed by pedophile. Why we have a Second Amendment. Venezuela plans to give firearms to loyalists so they can purge growing resistance. That's on shtfplan.com. Nashville, which is where I am, patriots announce counter-protest in response to communist Antifa May Day rally. That's on the Gateway Pundit. From E&E News, experts, Japan wants to just drop tanks of Fukushima nuclear waste into the ocean. Americans worried over plumes hitting the West Coast. Reactors are now leaking really high levels of radiation into the sea. The world does need to help. Official says Japan is lying about the catastrophe. Well, of course they are. They're trying to cover up everything that's happening there. Nuclear attack drills held near Manhattan as North Korea shows off its military might. Hundreds of illegal voters uncovered in North Carolina in 2016. That's on Freedom Outpost. If you're not using optical storage, all your data may be wiped out in a nuclear war, solar flare, or EMP attack. It's from Mike Adams of Natural News. Yeah, but if the computers are all wiped out anyway, and you are wiped out, it probably doesn't really matter if you lose all your data. Trump continues gutting the climate church of the EPA. That's on Freedom Outpost. Naysayer reality check. Waymo's self-driving taxi debuts in Phoenix for free. And I guess it would be called a self-crashing taxi, because that's what it's going to do. The main highlights in Trump's sweeping tax reform proposal. That's from Zero Hedge. Wandering security robots take over America. That's on Breitbart. Bloodbath. 100 layoffs at ESPN. Also from Breitbart. SWAT mistakes prayer group for gun thieves. Raids wrong home and detains a 14-year-old girl in the bathroom. That's from the Free Thought Project. Republicans consider new Obamacare vote on Friday. House may pass 1-week funding bill to avoid shutdown as negotiations stall. That's on Zero Hedge. Egregious abuse of federal power. Trump orders review of new national monuments. That's from RT. Hungarian Prime Minister calls U.S. billionaire Soros enemy of Euro. That's on Sputnik News. He's right about that one. North Korea could nuke Hawaii due to gap in U.S. missile defense system. It's on the Express. A Reuters poll reveals Americans can no longer think for themselves. Yes, I find that out daily. That's on activistpost.com. North Korea will succeed. U.S. military boss makes horror missile prediction. That's on Daily Star. And from Dave Hodges, is the UN preparing for mass casualty event on U.S. soil? My answer to that is simple. Yes, of course they are. From alt-market.com, rules and dangers when organizing security and survival groups. Autistic boy sees mind-blowing visions from heaven. That's a YouTube video. From the Daily Mail, the incredible spherical flying screens that could soon show ads in the sky. Display consists of an LED frame that spins on its axis in a rapid horizontal motion. What could possibly go wrong? No conspiracy theory. U.S. government engaged in weather modification since 1953. That's on chemtrailsplanet.net. No signs Gotham Shield will go hot, though a series of strange coincidences will take place Wednesday, or in this case has taken place. Bizarre emergency alert system message with another sign, we're closing in upon the main event? ? That's from All News Pipeline. Major flooding after slow-moving storm hits North Carolina. That's from Watchers.news. Heads up for Chile. Cluster of 16 large fore- and aftershocks could be on the verge of a massive quake in the days to come. I just said that earlier in the earthquake update. Part of that was that Deep 5.0 that I mentioned. Planned Parenthood doc who wanted Lamborghini for selling aborted babies caught selling baby parts again. That's on lifenews.com. Here's the top list of mysterious sunken underwater cities in the world found underwater. These strange and mind-blowing but also amazing forgotten ancient underwater ruins are located deep in the ocean. That's a YouTube video. From All News Pipeline, as President Trump promises we'll go to Mars, will stargates, giants, and our true history soon be revealed? And is the mainstream media's recent focus on ancient aliens another sign of disclosure ahead? I just talked about ancient aliens on the Diamond Report yesterday. I don't think that's a coincidence. Here's a headline about it. Yeah, in this article from jihadwatch.org, you could forget Chrislam. People say that the one world religion is going to be Chrislam. No, it's not going to be. The Catholic Church has become one of Islam's loudest boosters. Then Steve says, secret plans to merge Islam and Catholicism to form a one world religion have been underway for a long time. Now it's happening before our eyes. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a merging of Islam and Catholicism, which were both founded in Babylonian mystery school religion. That's where they both come from. That's where they originate from. Islam and Catholicism from the same original starting place, and Christianity and Judaism not. They're the total opposite of those. Intolerance is protected by police snipers, and free speech advocates are left swinging in the wind. Welcome to the New World Order. That's on All News Pipeline. From Daily Mail, U.S. military bosses reveal radical plan to hack soldiers' brains to give them superhuman capabilities. And Steve says, super soldiers. It's what they are already capable of, which is beyond our wildest imaginations. Hawaii threatened by North Korea now, U.S. commander tells Congress. Steve says, we should not kid ourselves here. A conflict on the peninsula would be like anything we have seen in decades. That's on McClatchydC.com. Okay, that's it for today's Diamond Report. Thanks for listening and watching. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're watching from YouTube. If you're watching from Facebook, because I also posted on there, please go to the Diamond Report Facebook page and like that page as well. That will help me a lot. That way you'll also get updates as I add new videos each day. Again, I'm trying to, I record these shows in the evening, late evening, and then post them first thing in the morning. And it could be as early as 7:30 in the morning or as late as 9:30 or 10. I try and do them as early as possible, and then I repost the YouTube link later on in the afternoon. So if you miss it early on, you can catch it later. And if you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, of course, you can click the little bell icon underneath the player, and you will get an email alert each time I publish a new video. And some of the videos I publish on my channel are not the Diamond Report, as you probably noticed if you subscribe. But I put all of our Lost Arts Radio archived shows on there as well. So you may have noticed that. if you're a subscriber. Thanks again, and I'll see you tomorrow.